What will the Trump presidency mean over the next 4 years for Dubai and the United Arab Emirates? Let's find out. His presidency would likely lead to a stronger US dollar. That's because of multiple reasons. First of all, he wants to introduce a lot of tariffs on Chinese goods and other imported goods, and he also wants to deport a lot of illegal immigrants. Introducing tariffs would very likely over time, so it would take some time, lead to import substitution. So more products will be produced in the United States, at least he hopes so. And because of that, less US dollar would have to be converted to Chinese renminbi, for example, and then this would lead to a stronger US dollar. Similarly, when he deports a lot of illegal immigrants, this would mean that there are fewer remittances from the US to Mexico, for example. So less US dollar would be converted to Mexican peso, and as a result, the US dollar would likely be stronger. There's another perspective. Both of these policies are also inflationary in the United States, so they would likely lead to higher consumer prices, as a result of which the Federal Reserve may actually increase interest rates again, and because of that, the US dollar would again be stronger compared to other world currencies. Now, the dirham, the currency in the United Arab Emirates, is pegged to the US dollar, and as a result, the dirham would also appreciate very likely compared to other global currencies. So properties, even without any further price increases in the property market in Dubai, for example, properties would appear more expensive to Chinese or Russians. And as a result, there would likely be less demand from those countries. Similarly, vacations or anything else really in the UAE would likely become somewhat more expensive to tourists from other countries. So there will likely be less demand, and that would be a negative for Dubai. The Ukraine-Russia war. Trump has gone so far as to claim that this war wouldn't even exist or wouldn't have even happened had he been president over the last 4 years. So one of his priorities is to end the war and potentially end some of the sanctions. And this is the important part, because just ending the war will not really be necessarily a good or bad thing for Dubai. Once he ends the sanctions primarily on Russian citizens, those Russians could much more easily travel to Europe, to the United States, and this would decrease demand in Dubai for tourist activities from Russia, for property investments from Russia, and so on. Also, there are a lot of people that are currently staying from Russia and also from Ukraine in Dubai. Some of those would probably return to Europe, to Russia, and to other countries. So an end to this war, and also more importantly, an end to most of these sanctions, would actually be probably a bad thing for Dubai. And of course, this is a very long process, and it would also require cooperation from Europe, because a lot of the sanctions against Russia were implemented by European Union countries. So Trump doesn't have direct control over those sanctions that were imposed by the European Union. So we have to see how fast this could happen and whether it actually happens at all. But it would be very likely a negative thing for Dubai, unfortunately. If we remember, during his first presidency, Donald Trump worked on something called the Abraham Accords. And that actually led to the United Arab Emirates politically recognizing Israel. This is why we have direct flights between Dubai and Tel Aviv today. It's because Trump helped negotiate that. There are also agreements in place between Morocco and Israel, and also Bahrain and Israel, mostly because of Trump's first term as president. Similarly, the United Arab Emirates has tried to buy F-35 fighter jets from the United States. So those purchases were blocked by the Democrats over the last 4 years, and Trump is highly likely to approve them. So the UAE would receive the highest grade military equipment from the United States. In summary, this will likely mean that the Arab Gulf countries and many other Arab countries and Israel will become stronger militarily and also politically, whereas Iran and its allies will likely be weakened. Usually, and this is a very important point, when we have fewer conflicts in the Middle East and also around the world, this is actually a bad thing for Dubai and the United Arab Emirates, because Dubai is considered a safe haven. So when there's a war in Iraq or in Libya, a lot of the high net worth individuals from those countries would come to Dubai and spend more time and money in Dubai. So when there's less conflict, this would actually be a bad thing for Dubai's economy. Now, here's one very important policy that Trump has announced and that at least he's thinking about: ending citizenship based taxation for US citizens. So, when you have US citizenship, you have a problem when moving abroad, because when you're generating a very high income, for example, $1 million per year, you'll still have to pay personal income taxes in the United States. This is citizenship based taxation. Almost no other country in the world has such a scheme in place. The other two countries are, in fact, North Korea and Eritrea, a country in Africa. And Donald Trump has announced or proposed, at least suggested, to end this scheme. And this would be a huge development, because that would mean that Americans would have it much easier moving to a place like Dubai. They don't have to renounce their US citizenship, and they can earn very high incomes, and they wouldn't have to file a US tax return potentially, and they also may not have to pay US income taxes. So what would this mean for Dubai? It would probably mean more immigration from the United States to Dubai, even if it's just temporarily. It would probably mean more investments in Dubai. And that would be a very positive thing for Dubai and the United Arab Emirates. It would be a bad thing, however, for all of those individuals that are trying to sell Americans second citizenships, because those will not be needed anymore. Let's talk about oil prices. We all know that Donald Trump doesn't like economic or business or environmental regulations. So very likely he will try to increase oil production in the United States. So this would increase global supply and potentially lead to lower oil prices. So again, that would be a bad thing for the United Arab Emirates, because the UAE is one of the largest oil producers, particularly Abu Dhabi, not so much Dubai. In Dubai, oil production just makes up around 2% or even less than that as a share of GDP. So lower oil prices in general, also in the Middle East, would lead to lower purchasing power by other Arabs, so individuals living in Saudi Arabia, in Qatar, in Abu Dhabi. And then this means that those individuals and those and companies in those places would have lower funds available to invest in the UAE and also in Dubai. And generally speaking, this would be a negative for Dubai. We saw that in 2014, 2015. Back then, oil prices spiked. And at the time, property prices also spiked. Economic growth in the United Arab Emirates also spiked. So we have to see whether this is a potential risk for Dubai. Subscribe to the Dubai Navigator for the only 100% independent advice on Dubai and the UAE. We help you relocate to Dubai. We help you set up companies in the UAE. We help you develop tax-optimized relocation strategies for your businesses if you want to move them over to Dubai. And we also assist with 100% independent real estate advice. We don't work with any developers. We don't want to sell you any properties. We cannot even sell you any properties because we don't have a RERA real estate agency license. So we are 100% independent in our advice, and that's what we do. So contact us via WhatsApp or by email or on our website, thedubainavigator.com. Thank you for watching.